Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. This is HD StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys another Heart of the Swarm broadcast. And today we're going to be doing a couple of new players. Actually, one of the players here, the Red Zerg at the top right-hand corner of Daybreak, is one of the newest additions to the Prime clan in Korea, and his name is Terror. He actually joined Prime, I think, late in January. So a very good Zerg, obviously, to be playing on a team as well esteemed as the Prime clan. So this should be a good one. He is the Red Zerg at the top right-hand corner. Both players are, in fact, Korean. In the bottom left, this is a familiar face. I've actually casted a few games of him already. His name is HelloKitty. And if you guys don't remember, I think I did 2 games with him already, and he's very promising, extremely talented Protoss player. Plays on the Korean ladder, has several matches against HDRA, the Little One, obviously some of the Korean pros like players from Team Prime, the formerly now disbanded Slayers, and in general, this is going to be a very high-profile match. This is Korea versus Korea, and it's always fun to see what kind of strategies the Koreans have evolved that differentiate from the strategies outside of Korea, obviously. Now, of course, this is the beta, but and all of them play on one server, but regardless, it should be interesting to see this Protoss versus Zerg play out. The map is Daybreak. It is pretty big. Classic map that has been around in StarCraft 2 for over a year now, but one of the most favorite maps for all the StarCraft 2 professional gamers. Now, we do have HelloKitty coming down here and trying to block Terror's natural expansion, and looks like he's going to get a little bit of blockage going on here. That drone is like, please get the hell out of here so I become a hatchery, but HelloKitty is having none of that. Very nice blockading. And usually when a Zerg is faced with this dilemma, a lot of times they'll just send out a second drone and make a hatchery. Typically on this map you make it down here, but it seems like Terror is really intent on making the hatchery at the natural expansion. He doesn't want to make it far away, and he actually ends up beating up that probe, shows the probe who's boss, and says, look, if you really want to be blocking my hatchery here, I'm going to knock you down until you're almost dead. And finally the probe has to flee away. So Terror gets the natural down. Of course, it is a little bit delayed, but at least now he doesn't have to deal with transferring drones from a very far distance. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. A couple of Zerglings are now out on the way, and that should push the probe back home. Very unlikely HelloKitty will remain here. He might try to do a little bit of a U-turn to get additional scouting information. It looks like he's doing just that. Meanwhile, at the front door, HelloKitty has a Nexus, has a Forge and a Gateway, as well as a Photon Cannon coming down. Looks like he went with a Nexus first opening. I could be wrong. I wasn't paying attention to the tabs in the beginning, but it looks like a Nexus first. And he does have the Forge and Gateway about to finish up, or the Gateway about to finish up momentarily, and it looks like he's going to throw down the Cybernetics Core now, and that is going to seal off any potential Zergling threat from running into the main. Although I believe there might be a bit of a gap right here, but usually that gets closed off by a Zealot pretty quickly, as Terror is going to go ahead and take the 3rd hatchery. So now both players have opened up this game with what you would expect to see, but there is a little bit of a divergence here. HelloKitty actually throwing up a pylon all the way up at the top left-hand corner next to the eye pistol billboard, and not too sure what he's planning to do here, but quite obviously he hasn't moved this probe, so he's waiting for the pylon to finish. He's going to hide some sort of tech here, I believe. Otherwise he would have moved the probe away to continue scouting, making different pylons at different locations, but the fact that he left his probe here signifies to me that he wants to build something. And we'll see what he tries to make. I'm just waiting to see it, obviously. And there it is. Stargate is coming down. So he wants to go for a hidden Stargate. And really, this is the best spot. If you're going to hide a Stargate, it really is best to hide it up here. Some players will even hide it here as well, because it's even closer. But a lot of times, Overlords will move into this trajectory, into this area, and they'll be able to scout out the Stargate early on. So really, HelloKitty taking less of a gamble, puts the Stargate further back, but it's still hidden Terror is not going to realize this is coming, and I want to see what he's going to build out of this. Is he going to go for oracles? Is he going to make a Void Ray, maybe a Phoenix or two? We'll just have to wait and see what he produces. But one thing here that Terror can kind of sniff out is the fact that there isn't any sentries at the front door. And anytime a Zerg player, you know, at this moment in time, 7 minutes in, moves into the natural and sees a complete lack of sentries, that is always a bit of a telltale sign that, alright, the Protoss is up to something here, because they've got all the gases mining, or at least 2 gases mining in the back, and they haven't invested an ounce of gas into anything in terms of units. The only gas that's been invested so far is a Cybernetics core for Warp Gate, so usually that sets off some alarm bells for Zerg players, and we can see, in fact, HelloKitty is going for Void Rays. He's actually not moving out with the first Void Ray, gonna hide one of them and wait for 2, I think, maybe even more, and then move in once he feels comfortable. A lot of times that can be very deadly when a Protoss player saves up, stockpiles that hidden fleet, and then it comes in when you least expect it. Now, it looks like Terror, he smells something funky going on here. He's throwing up spore crawlers, as he should, because he realized that there was no sentries at the front door. He's got a couple of spores coming up here, and he's making roaches as well. Now, I don't think the roaches are being made for an attack here. I think Terror is legitimately concerned about some type of gateway warp gate attack, warp gate stargate attack of some sort, and his concerns are definitely valid right here, because we do have a little bit of gateway action coming in here from the Zealots down at the 3rd hatchery, but there are roaches there, so the Zealots are going to get shut down. Now the Void Rays have revealed themselves upon an Overlord, and so Terror is going to start to throw up a couple more spores right now, but the Void Rays are here, and they have used their prismatic alignment to gain extra damage against armored units. Now, that doesn't necessarily help them against the drones or the queens, but it will help them take out roaches very quickly if that's what they want to go ahead and do. But the prismatic alignment doesn't last forever, only about 15 seconds, and it is now 20 seconds, excuse me. It has now worn off. 3rd Void Ray coming in here is going to start to focus down the spawning pool. Now, these Void Rays have got to pick a target. They don't want to just stick around, because queens are pretty damn good against them. They've got to try to go for a critical unit or a critical structure here, and it looks like they could go for drones. They try to go for a spawning pool as well. The spawning pool is halfway down, but I think with 3 queens here, that might be the end of this battle, although they are using their prismatic alignment once again. I'm not too sure if that actually helps against queens, so they are not considered armored units, so it doesn't necessarily help them. But it looks like now the Void Rays are going to be forced to pull away, and in total, how much damage was done? Only 1 drone was killed. The only actual damage that hasn't done, in fact, is 1 drone was sacrificed to make an additional spawning pool, because Terror was under the impression that the first spawning pool, the original, was going to go down. And so you know, and overall, I don't know if the Void Rays did enough damage there. I'm not sure if they really paid off for their costs. You've got to remember that HelloKitty invests a considerable amount here to make the hidden Stargate and to make these Void Rays. I'm not sure if it has paid off for him. We can look at the resources lost tab, and you can see it is actually pretty close. But I still feel like he needs to do some actual real damage inside the Zerg base. He needs to take out a critical structure or take out several drones. He's only killed 1 so far, and Terror's response to the Void Rays is very smart here. This is extremely intelligent. Go for the Hydralisks. They are much better in Heart of the Swarm. They're faster, and against Void Rays, they kind of laugh at them. It's kind of like not really even an even match. Hydras can take them down very quickly. Now this Void Ray has taken out all the Overlords around the main and the natural of the Protoss bases, but in a couple of moments here, I think Terror is going to be making an attack. He's got Roaches and Hydras coming in, but he needs to wait for the speed upgrades for both his Roaches and his Hydralisks to finish up. I don't think it's a smart decision here to attack without speed, because if you get caught with some sentries, you're not going to be able to pull out very quickly, and the force fields can displace your units very easily. So Terror probably won't be able to make an attack anytime soon, but what he can do during this downtime is tech up and continue to expand, and in fact that's what he's doing. He's going for a hive right now. Pretty quick hive. 13-minute hive, in fact. And, you know, this is just showing how good the Koreans are, because he's going up to 4 bases. He's got 82 drones, and he's getting one of the quickest hives that I've ever seen. This hive was started around 13 minutes, maybe even sooner. So this is really, really talented here. But HelloKitty is no slouch. He is going up for Colossus. He's getting Blink as well. He is going to be looking to be pretty strong as well, as he's got a third base now fully saturated and operational. The wall has been set up as well, and we might even see a fourth base momentarily here. Terror finally sees the Stargate and its location. He is going to actually send that Roach to depower it, and a couple of Hydras and Roaches have been sent new orders. They're going to be going over to the 11 o'clock to try to shut down the Stargate, but I don't think Happy is going to lose too much if he loses this Stargate. It's not the end of the world. And he can certainly just bring a pylon to repower it later on, unless he loses the Stargate in general, which it looks like he will. But it's not a terrible loss, because HelloKitty has shut down Stargate production. He's basically gone back into standard Protoss gateway mode, and he won't be needing a Stargate for some time, so it's not a terrible loss right there. Now, what is he going to do to deal with the Vipers? Because there are 5 Vipers on the way here, and Terror is certainly going to be making use of the new abilities available in HOTS. Vipers are very, very good against Colossus. You guys have seen it time and time again. The ability to abduct a Colossus and put it out of position next to Roaches and Hydras is very powerful, and it's hard for Protoss to stop that. One way they can stop it is if they can get some Templar on the field and feed back the Vipers before they get in range, but the Vipers do have a lot of range on that abductability, so it is hard to pull off. Plus the Vipers are considered, of course, a flying unit, so they can get in and out very quickly. But we'll see how this plays out. Terror is now maxed out, 199 supply. He does have 1-1. He's getting 2-2 on the way right now. The Protoss army is at 1-2. Doesn't have any additional upgrades coming. Both armies are actually out of position. Terror.Prime is going to be going right for the third Nexus. Meanwhile, the Protoss army trying to get back in position. The problem is he doesn't have any Storm, and that could prove to be a problem against all these speedy Roaches and Hydras. He only has 3 Colossus, and in general, I think Terror.Prime will be able to pull out as soon as the Colossus get in range. He doesn't need to stick around and fight, but he is going to use Abduct and bring all the Colossus in. The 3 Colossus fall almost immediately. A couple of blinding clouds, 1 blinding cloud going down. A hallucinated army comes out, and Terror runs in fear. No pun intended, of course, but Terror now the one being terrorized due to the hallucinations. But I think Terror had to realize that those were not real. But the thing is, in the heat of battle, sometimes it's just a psychological effect. It's like, oh, I just took out all of his Colossus and now I'm fighting just Stalkers. I should be able to take this fight as long as I can bring reinforcements. And then boom, 6 or 7 hallucinated Colossus come in, and you know, your instinct takes over, and Terror obviously right there decided to pull away. I actually think that that was the right decision, because even though they're hallucinated, they do draw fire. They are considered a high priority target. But now it looks like Terror has got home field advantage. He's got the creep, and he's got more Hydras coming. He should be able to win this fight. I'm not sure why HelloKitty is staying here. He's got a terrible concave. Hydras absolutely wreck Stalkers and Void Rays, and HelloKitty is going to have to pull away, although he does have a War Prism here. Will he try to reinforce? No. He has to retreat, and in fact, the War Prism goes down as well. A terrible move right there by HelloKitty, and oh my god, Imba from him. He's not happy with the way this game played out. Terror is saying, all right, it's time to get out, man. You're not on my level, is what he's saying. It is now 178 supply to 108. And if you look at the cash here, the cash, the net flow is certainly looking good for Mr. Terror. He could even turn his company into he could go into a corporation right now if he wanted to. That's how rich he is. Pay all of his employees full time and even into their retirement. He is so rich right now. Maybe not in gas, but in terms of minerals he is. And comparatively to HelloKitty, HelloKitty is basically broke right now. And he's only running really on well, he just said he's not done yet. He's not going to give up. He's at 137 supply, but it's not over until the GG is typed out and the player has left the game. What can HelloKitty do? You know, like I said, the one thing that he's kind of got going for him is the fact that the Zerg player doesn't have a lot of gas, but that's like the silver lining around a very dark cloud. Because most of the gas has been invested into a fleet of Vipers, 4 Vipers, and an armada of Hydralisks. What in the world is a Protoss to do about this? I don't know. He is pushing out, though. He is going to try here. He's got 1 Colossus. Stalker's actually blinking backwards, and the Hydralisk army is going to retreat. 3-3 now on the way for the Zerg player, Terror.Prime. Man, that is just a scary, scary army. What about the Protoss? So 1-2 has plus, actually, excuse me, that is not, yeah, that is 2-1, I'm so sorry, with +3 on the way. So +3 weapons is about to finish up here, giving HelloKitty basically the same upgrades as the Zerg player, but once 3-3 finishes for Terror, the Protoss player is gonna need to get some armor and some shields in order to even out the fight. And just look at how many Hydralisks are here. That is an insane amount of Hydras. 41 Hydralisks are on the field right now, and I don't know if there's enough Colossus to fight this off. Hydralisks with speed are so scary, and here we go, and of course Colossus getting abducted in, and unfortunately the hallucination was just moments too late, but it looks like the real ones were yanked in, but now HelloKitty pulls the Colossus into the back, so he keeps his Colossus alive. Time Warp Field coming down as well. Could HelloKitty win this fight? Incredible! If he actually wins this, I am completely awestruck. And I guess the hallucinations did end up coming in and useful there, because the hallucinated Colossus ended up diverting fire from the Hydralisks, from the real Stalkers and the real Colossus. Even though the Abduct came in really early and it did find the real Colossus, really they weren't getting targeted because of the fake ones, and HelloKitty was able to maneuver a couple of his Colossus back home, back behind his Stalker line, and as a result, he wins the fight incredibly. But the next wave is coming. The Swarm never quits and never surrenders. How is HelloKitty going to stay alive for the second wave? He's got to keep his Colossus up. That's his only hope here. A couple more Zealots warping in as well. The Hydralisks are getting lasered down. Hydras just can't withstand firepower of this magnitude, and it looks like the Hydralisks once again have to retreat. I think Terra probably should have waited for 3-3 to finish before moving in there. Probably would have been a good idea. 3-3 is moments away from closing out here. That probably would have helped him considerably. On top of that, HelloKitty finished his 3 weapons before that battle engaged. So that was a good one for HelloKitty. He's won 2 fights now. Can he actually close the distance? This would be one of the craziest comebacks I have ever seen if he can do it. There are 5 more Vipers on the way though, so it is going to be very, very hard for him to do. He needs to get Sonic Storm. That's the one key differential here, because Sonic Storm, along with Colossus, is the way to shut down a large army of Hydralisks. He's got to get Templars on the field. The problem is he is so starved for resources right now. He needs another base. He's only on 4. Granted, the Zerg is only on 5, which is, you know, what you'd expect to see, but HelloKitty needs every edge you can get right now in order to come back in this game. How will Terror.Prime, will he be able to close this out? Will he be able to finish him off? He does have so many Vipers here, and the Vipers are one of the scariest units now. Hydra Viper is probably the worst composition for Protoss to face nowadays. I don't know, man, and that's a lot of spine crawlers that are going to be coming up too. The advancement has begun. Terror.Prime is now going to begin colonizing the Protoss territory, and that is going to be thrown down in the form of not flags, but spine crawlers. And here comes Terror. Oh, the Storm, though! Very good Storm. Storm just finishing in the nick of time. And it looks like HelloKitty is not going to settle for this. He's not going to give up his territory. He shuts down the spine crawlers. Very good play right there. Maybe Terror was just getting a little ahead of himself. He does have 3-3 finish now. Look, he's got 8 Vipers in the mix. I mean, this could just be a game ender here. He needs to use Hallucination again, but the Colossus are yanked in, and the Blinding Cloud's coming down as well. Storm is actually evening out the fight considerably, though, but the last Colossus has fallen. Reinforcements coming in, Archons coming out of the Recycled Templar, and somehow, someway, HelloKitty makes a stand. It wasn't really even a stand. It was more like, I'm gonna fight here and then pull back just away from my Nexus, and it worked out for him. Now the Vipers are actually there are still enough Vipers with energy to abduct the Archons here, so HelloKitty is in no way in a safe spot right now. You can see how quickly the Archons drop once they are abducted. Really, I feel like HelloKitty needs to think about using feedback here. You know, a couple of feedbacks on these Vipers, and it's good night Viper. The Vipers in total have 200 available energy and only 150 HP. So, in fact, Vipers that consume too much pose a threat to themselves, and HelloKitty's got to be aware of that. He's got to use a couple of feedbacks here. He needs more money though. That's the problem. 150 supply to 195. He's trying to clear out an extra space to make a new expansion here with these 2 Zealots, but even if he kills off the 2 Zerglings, he's also, well, it looks like the creep's not spread all the way to the Nexus, but he really does need to bring an Observer here and finish off these creep tumors, because creep tumors mean a highway, and a highway to your new base is no bueno. Happy Kitty's got to get his forces and an Observer in position to shut down the creep tumorage, but if he leaves the pocket expansion here, then he also runs the risk of losing this Nexus. So I think what he needs to do is send a small strike force. A couple of Zealots and an Observer should do the trick. But we'll see if he does just that. Meanwhile, Terror.Prime building up another new army of Zerg forces. He's also incorporating some Infestors soon here. This is going to be the next battle. The Vipers are coming in, not getting an Abduct on both the Colossus, only one, and the Storm's driving the Hydralisk back. Another big victory there for Happy Kitty. Units lost now 32,000 to 29,000. Happy Kitty actually taking the edge in that department. Incredible game, and the Storm's coming down and you're ripping the Hydralisk to shreds. Terror.Prime is in a lot of trouble here, but he's got Infestors now, and Fungal Growth should help even the playing field. One Colossus will fall due to continued chain fungals. Most of the Vipers are now in retreat, and somehow Terror is actually out of money, and if you're out of money, he cannot make any additional forces. He's only got a small handful of Broachers and Vipers and Infestors. I think Terror is actually in a lot of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. He's got to focus down the Archons. That Archon is so low on HP, 51 HP. He needs to take it down, and he does, and the Colossus gets abducted once again into hostile territory, but Terror just doesn't have enough money to make new units. He's out of money, he's got tons of gas, and whenever you're in a situation like this, I always feel like making a bunch of Infestors isn't a bad idea, but unfortunately Terror just doesn't have the time to make Infestors. He's actually in danger of losing a hatchery here. Unbelievable comeback by Happy Kitty. Is it going to be successful? He's even got a couple of Dark Templar in the mix. And that is always a problem for Zerg when they don't have Overseers nearby. The Zerg army is getting completely eradicated. Did Terror get a little too cocky? Was he getting a little bit too ahead of himself, engaging multiple times and losing big battles? It has swung the entire momentum of this game. Happy Kitty just playing a patient defend and wait, and I actually think he is going to win this. This is incredible. He is slicing this hatchery down. He's killed off the one at the pocket expansion. He's even got a couple of DTs down in the bottom right hand side, and Terror has no way to stop this continuous onslaught. Now, I kind of want to see is if Terror is going to type out GG here. Should he lose this game? Is he just going to leave, or is he going to actually GG out? And here's just, I guess, one lesson is don't get overconfident in StarCraft 2, especially not in Heart of the Swarm. Things can change very, very quickly, as you guys can see here for Terror.Prime. I think at this moment, unless another comeback happens, I think Terror is done. He just doesn't have any money. He doesn't have any supply. I don't see any way he can come back in this. This is far more bleak than Happy Kitty's situation 10 minutes ago. And now the spawning pool is going to go down. Of course, that's no problem because there's the normal spawning pool. The first one is still back at home. But, oh, this is just not looking good for Terror.Prime. Maybe, I almost feel like he might have made too many Vipers, if you guys catch my drift. Now, Vipers are pretty expensive supply-wise. 3 supply apiece, and really against a battle against a Protoss army composed mostly of Archons and Charge Lots, the Blinding Cloud isn't all that effective, so all you really have is Abduct. And when you have 8 or so Vipers, that's 24 supply that you would have had in a better unit. On top of that, I think Terror kind of drilled himself into a hole when he didn't go into tier 3. Yeah, Vipers are tier 3, but you need Ultras, you need Brute Lords. You can't win a game, I don't think, with just Roach Hydra. And I think Terror learned a pretty important lesson today. So Happy Kitty is victorious. What a beautiful game of StarCraft 2 that was. I hope you guys enjoyed. And for now, this is HD. I am signing out. Heart of the Storm is going to be coming in a few weeks, so I hope to see you guys there. But for now, for this video, I am done. I'll see you guys in the next cast. This is HD, signing out.